I will, in theory, have first action, but that will be dependent on who has the fastest speed. This is a medium to almost large size map, almost. So we will both have potential setup time, between, we'll say safely 2 to 3 turns, probably closer to 3, depending on what the enemy has for Drace's or excuse me, what Drace has, since he is my enemy in this game. Looks like going to be starting off with my Lucette. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. We're going to Tailwind Mustadio, who's going to go up 1 speed. Alright, swapping over now. So now I'm able to see Drace's actual party line. So we got Ygraph, Avelia, Alma, Orran, and Construct 8. Okay. A little afraid I might have seen that Orran coming up here. Ygraph's going to go ahead and channel Focus here. So it's going to increase his PA by 1. Ygraph is similar to our Berserker from generic premades. He's not as potentially deadly, but at first. But if you give him enough time to focus or take damage proccing his Fury, he can actually become a very strong killing machine. I'm going to have my Beowulf try to Faith Mustadio. I will connect. That means Mustadio now has the Faith buff. Faith buff treats his Faith as if it was at 100. This is going to be very important because Mustadio is set up as a DPS with dual guns, and each magic gun he has calculates with Faith, so the greater his Faith, the more damage he's potentially able to do. Alright, I'm going to end my turn here with Alma, and then I'm going to be switching over to Drace's Alma. Drace is going to prepare Aegis on his Orran. I'm switching over to Avelia. Avelia, I think this is actually first night her being on stream. Avelia is basically a white mage. She's basically a pure healer, whereas Alma is I guess you could say, is like a time support because she doesn't have a lot of healing. She can attack with her healing staff and she can use Chant, but that's really as far as healing goes for Alma. But Avelia is the main person you want to consider if you are wanting to have someone run like Raise, so you can revive the Fallen or use really strong Cure magic. She has access to Cure all the way to Karaja. Alright, so me and Drace's Orrans are both channeling Celestial Stasis, which is pretty obvious going to happen right at the beginning of the game. We want to try to get those Stop and Mobilize Disables off so we can start pushing forward. Yeah. But I have an idea of what Drace went for here. I think he kind of had an idea what I might have been going for too. Just to reference what I'm referring to, Alma, Avelia, Ygraph, Orran, and Construct 8, so everyone on Drace's party actually is fully immune to Celestial Stasis. Alma and Avelia are immune because they have ribbons, which gives them full status immunity. As long as it's not broken, which they can be broken, FYI. But Ygraph is innately immune because he is originally a boss. So he has immunities to Stop, Immobilize, and Disable. And Construct 8 does not give a care about statuses outside of Confuse. So his full team is Orran immune, if you want to call it that, to my stasis. So me channeling my stasis probably wasn't the best idea. I actually didn't realize that, in particular Ygraph, I think was who I was looking at. I didn't realize he had that until after the fact. But that's alright, I'm still channeling, and it's still going to be a while before we really get into pure engagement. Why did I do that? I just made a bad play there. But anyways. Alright, so this is the bad play here. I pushed my Musato out of his stage of positioning, so he would have gotten haste, or potentially would have gotten haste. Well, he would have because he's at 100 faith. But that's alright. Once again, I do have some time here, so that's one of those kind of maps where, if you make a mistake, depending on when it occurred, especially in the early game, you usually can kind of fix it. But I am potentially burning turns to try to correct, so it's still not in my favor to mess up as normal. Because instead of if I did that, then he would have already hasted. Now I gotta wait longer to get him in a position to do so. Alright, this is going to be my stasis. It is already for certain that this will not connect on anyone because everyone is status immune. It shouldn't. Keyword. Alright, block should be a block on all 5. Correct, yep. Okay, Avelia just straight up just missed. But either way, if it even would have missed, because stasis has a 5 or 50% chance to miss. So I think on Avelia it actually did miss from the roll. I actually can be affected by stasis here. Luso will get immobilized disabled, but he is immune to stop, so he will not be stopped. And so we can witch. He's just going to outright end his turn. I'm going to faith my Alma as well. Faithing a healer in this point, or support, especially when they're relying on magics, will increase the percentage chance of that said magic to connect. Magics has the chance to fail. Each magic will compare between the caster's faith and the target's faith. So bringing her faith up to 100 will increase the likelihood of magics connecting, even if the target's faith is lower. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set up Dispel No on my Luso. Dispel No will get rid of Disable, Immobilize. Alright, now that we're out of the way there, now in a perfect world, this isn't really the best map for Orran. We found out in a previous game with Wingman because of the way the tiles are on this map. A lot of tiles are sitting on zeros or mostly zeros, so or 1, so you can't prime, which would be the lowest number to calculate with arithmetics. I'm going to double check just to make sure, but that should be the case. Hitting targets with arithmetic is going to be kind of poor, so ideally Drase's Orran's in a better position because I have some people who are able to be hit by it. My Orran is in a very bad position because Drase cannot be stasis whatsoever because of his team, and because of the map, arithmetics are not as effective. So this is one of those big parts where it matters what map you play on, it matters who you pick. If Drase had a team, a party that had immunity, or that was not immune to stasis, or even just being able to get immobilized or disabled, even if it was just 1 to 3, then Orran wouldn't have been bad. But right now, in all honesty, Orran is a bad pick for my team. So I would say I'm 4.5 instead of being at a full 5-man team, because right now I really cannot arithmetic unless we have people in the gully of the map, and I mean, that may or may not happen. I mean, it's almost like to say that probably won't happen, just because we both know that that wouldn't be the best place to go, at least for Drase's behalf, or even for my behalf, since we both have an Orran. So, like I said, Orran's not really favorable right now for me. It's still favorable for Drase because I have people that are potentially able to be hit by his status effects. Anyhow, as we progress, Drase is now getting his Almond Avelia channeling abilities on magic, and he's going to push his Y-Graph forward, getting another focus. I believe this is his +3 or +4 to his attack, to his physical attack at this point, so his Y-Graph is very dangerous towards my team. So this is the part where I'm going to need to be very cautious how I advance. I'm also aware that since I can't immobilize disable Y-Graph, he also is not subject to being aim shot with leg shot or arm shot. But I am still going to attack him. I'm going to use my dual guns here to get some damage done. He will proc a Fury, however, that's going to significantly raise Y-Graph's attack again. So he's a full-on threat to my party at this point. Now it's Luso's turn. He is back in action. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go in and speed up my Alma here. She's still not hasted, so she's still gonna act slower than most people. But I do still have some time to get her prepared if I need to. Alright, Drase is going to Aegis his Alma, so she now has all crucial buffs on her. And Orran's going to recast Celestial Stasis. Once again, his Orran has the ability to potentially affect at least one of my characters, Luso. It will actually land on Beowulf, my Musadio, and Luso. So I am in big trouble here. Essentially, at this point, I have to dispel Spellna with Alma because she is immune because of Ribbon. So as they purposely have ribbons, so they always have a way out, or their picks for if you need someone to potentially combat against Orran, that you can always rely on Alma or Avelia to be able to recover, because they have the ability to be immune and have the ability to cleanse. So that's still going to be a threat either way, because I have to spend turns to break them out of that. At this point, if Drase wanted to be kind of mean and just constantly keep Celestial Stasis up, he could, and that's definitely what's happening. I see. Because once again, this map is not really in favor for Orran's arithmetics, but it is because of my team. It is in favor for Celestial Stasis. All right, but a key note here is when Orran cannot stasis an Orran because they're both of the same Cancer's zodiac sign. So because they are Cancer, and I'm noticing that now. In all honesty, it's fair game. That's why I brought Alma, because I had a feeling I might see an Orran. I didn't necessarily think I was going to go against an Orran, but I just brought her just in case. It's never a bad idea to bring an Alma or Avelia. We'll just throw that out there now. They have their purposes, for sure. Let's see. All right. Alright, so it's Ygraph's turn. Ygraph is fairly injured, almost in critical HP here, but he is furied probably by +6 or +7, or excuse me, P8. There's another one. So he is, at this point, any attack he does should pretty much one-shot anything I have, even with Protect Shell up, I think. I imagine by the time he gets across the board, he's already going to be at +10, which should be safe to say that his physical power is going to be so high up that he's going to be able to just nuke anyone he looks at. So he is the full threat here on my team, so I need to take time now to prepare for said threat. Alright. We're going to be going back over to Drase's Alma. Alright. So, just to run down here, Alma's going to go ahead and chant. So let me go and get that first part out there. She's going to trade a little of her HP to restore some of Ygraph's. That is going to be one of Alma's main healing sources, because she's mostly used for time magics. But she can either attack with her staff or use chant. Now, just a note with her staff, if the ally has Protect, Protect will still calculate and reduce the damage they take from the staff. Her staff will heal for 120 normally, without any physical power buffs. But if they are protected, it will reduce from 120 to 80. So Avelia is going to also prepare a cure spell on Ygraph. Looks like Drase is trying to get his Ygraph back to full health before initiating. And he's going to spin the earth real quick one more time. And it's going to reset, pretty much reset the Celestial Stasis buffs on my team, or debuffs on my team. So So I still have ways out right now. My biggest concern is having to protect Alma, which is because she's the only one that can really, on my team, is unaffected besides Orran. And Orran's almost a sitting duck right now. Orran does have a book, and books hit for decent damage, but the target always has to be 3 panels, no greater, no less, from Orran at all times. Otherwise, you cannot target. So I always got to maintain a range of 3 for Orran to even do a normal attack, and which right now in Arithmetics is not going to be as effective, and I cannot stasis Drase's team. Big Daddy C's coming in. Time to dispose. He's personally one of my most favorite unique characters in the game. Alright, let's see. Can I do anything at this point? Looks like I can actually. Alright. Let's see, I should be able to actually get a height 3 arithmetic here, so I'm going to attempt to do that here. Yes, you can. Of course, once again, Construct's out of the question because he doesn't care about magics. So I'm not really looking at him, I'm looking at Y-Graph and Alma, potentially Avelia in particular. Alright, I need to play this safely here. It should have. Because it falls off. Aegis buffs will fall off, yeah. Yeah, I think it can. Which is why I'm actually fine with Aegis. A little skeptical about it at first, but after seeing how it works, like Aegis, like Protect Shell will stay on for, I think it will stay on permanently, but Haste, Re-Raise, and Regen potentially can fall off fairly early. Alright guys, just gonna get a fire out here. It's gonna hit Mustadio. Construct doesn't care because he's atheist. Y-Graph takes some decent damage. That's gonna give a Y-Graph Fury again, however. Y-Graph is would be Batter Strike basically at this point once it comes in to my line. Alright, speaking of which, Man of the Hour. He is currently at 18 PA, which I believe he is at 11 initially. That sounds about right. I double check real quick, but I think he actually starts off with I think it's 11-11. So he's +7 right now in physical power, so he is definitely going to be making some people's heads spin in a second. Okay, he starts out with 12. It's 12-11, so he is +6. Which honestly sounds like it would be more. But either way. Still, 18 still quite a bit of physical power increase. But the map allows you to do so, once again. So a lot of PvP here is going to be dictating on the map. If you know your opponent, sure, that might play a role too, but map really matters here. That's what's really important, to know the maps. If you don't know the maps, that's fine. Always get practice to learn the maps, because that's really going to dictate who is going to be effective. You know, stuff like this, where this is probably one of the better cases, because we both know that myself and Drase both know that Orran, and Orran in general, he can stasis anyone from any point on the map, any enemy from anywhere on the map. Doesn't matter where they're at, he can stasis them. However, you can build a team towards not being stasis, which is exactly what happened here. I'm assuming Drase had the idea that I was potentially going to run him because of the map itself, and he paid off in the favor that he made the right pick. So that is a part where prediction also plays a very strong role. Knowing where your opponent's going to potentially play and then counter picking. Gonna roll in those stasis. If they land, it's going to basically reset the debuffs on my characters, making it hard for me to break out of Orran's Celestial Stasis move. Alright. Trace's almost Aegis is going on Y-Graph. Y-Graph is now ready for combat basically at this point. And give him a little cure on top of that. Alright, now that Y-Graph is basically in my line, I have to play this very carefully because he's pretty much in my house the next turn he makes. And at this point, I'm going to have to try to do what I can here to prepare myself, essentially. Alright, Drase's Orran's going to height 3 fire. That's going to kill my Mustadio, not good. Once again, Construct doesn't care about magics. I actually had he played an advantage play there because I've already prepped the Dispelment on Mustadio to break him out. So if Alma does connect her Dispel, it will still not connect because target is dead. And here comes Y-Graph, there's the... Okay, there's a 576, and she goes bye-bye. Now keep in mind she was channeling, so she will take more damage. But still, the fact that you just swung that hard is a problem in itself, obviously. You do have double hand, good call there. Yes. Yes, that is also another feature. One, two, three. That's another feature I don't think we brought up at first when we talk about Y-Graph. So Y-Graph has, he's supposed to be like a person that has a wind up to Agrius. Agrius should be the quote-unquote, if you want the hardest, like, fast damage dealer, then Agrius is probably the go-to. Y-Graph requires a little bit of wind-up time, so Fury / Focus. But once he gets, I think, to 13 or 14 PA is when he starts outpowering Agrius. And he's on a rampage at this point because not only we just noticed, but he also has that double hand. So double hand will double his weapon power. Not mistaken here, which he has a weapon power of 16 with his defender. So he has 32. 16. 16, yeah. So he has 32 weapon power technically, but it only works for attack. All right, that's the key thing. It only works for attack. It does not work with Holy Sword commands. But he is hitting for 576. So it's basically right now the attack formula is 32 times 18. So yeah, that's why we've seen a 576 there. Alma's defense boost, her innate defense boost will not matter because she was cast timing, so it kind of just negated itself out. So even if she did have it, she still would have died because there's so much damage coming in from Y-Graph right now that it wouldn't have mattered. He still would have cut her for at least 300 or so, which still probably would have KO'd her regardless. So right now, he is the main threat. To be honest, there's not really much I can do here unless I can break Beowulf free, because he's probably the only one that really can do anything. I mean, yeah, if I can get Lusso, Lusso wouldn't have enough time to do anything. And on top of that, Y-Graph has re-raised. Now, if I do drop Y-Graph, he will, like, his PA will also reset, so he'll go back to 12 PA, which is great. Sure?
I'm not certain. I don't think.
Okay, I think they reset, but either way, even if they do reset, I'm still in a bad position because I really have no way to really recover now that both my supports are, well, one's KO'd and one's stopped. So Drase will just come on in at this point and say hello. That's true. Alright, so Velia is still prepping here where she's going to go, if she's going to do anything. Velia is going to be pushing over to my side now. Alright, Drase is making a play here. Looks like he's channeling either Karaga, more likely Karaga, based off the plus 207 off the forecast. So pretty much at this point, I mean, yeah, Luso will get healed, but honestly, it kind of doesn't matter because even if he, I mean, one, Luso's at full HP anyway, so he's not benefiting from the heal. He's going to overheal still at 450, so he's still not, it's not going to do any good. This will, however, get Ygraph back to full health. And essentially, with Ygraph's PA being so high, and I believe Luso does not have Protect Shell Long, he's going to take the full might of Ygraph's attack. So, okay, Drase is going to quick his Alma. Okay, interesting. Looks like he's going to try to get her across to set up on Ygraph again. If I had a guess, could be wrong here. He may or may not be able to because of range, but either way, he's giving himself more setup time. All right, we're just going to prep his Alma to cast a spell at the ground. Basically, this means that he is using turn order to position or get ready to position a character to get to that set AOE. We could consider this an advanced play here because he's using turn order, which is very, very, very vital in PvP. Knowing who's about to act next and when cast time abilities are about to go out, which is exactly what he's doing right now. He's already planned Alma's ability at that ground, and he has Ygraph in position to get said ability. He's going to go ahead and Hollow Bolt my Orran. Orran will go down from that, of course, for 360. And he did prep it quick, so he's trying to go for the back-to-back strike here. Quick will connect, so that gives Ygraph another strike here. I am basically donezo at this point. I still cannot really retaliate or act because Beowulf and Luso both are disabled and immobilized. So I can't move them or make any actions, and Ygraph is now has the field. Ygraph is going to do another Hollow Bolt, clearing my Beowulf because he cannot move, so he was able to get both strikes. Hollow Bolt has a 5-panel cross range AoE. Alright, Drase is going to prep that Velia Karaga now. This was going to give Luso some HP back, but once again, it doesn't really matter because even as it restores the HP back to me, Ygraph's in a position to basically 1 or 2 shot Luso anyways. Here, give me a little bit of healing. Alright, heard that. Alright, my Musario is back up from being dead. He had re-raised from Aegis earlier, so he now has the ability to act. Now, just letting you guys know now, this is really the only character I can act with, so the play I make here has to be crucial. And on top of that, if we're looking at the main threat, which is definitely Ygraph, I cannot immobilize or disable him because leg shot and arm shot are immune to him. So that's not going to work at all. So my plays are automatically bad, for better word. That's all right. Let's see. Velia is actually in the way. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and make a risky play here. My goal is to try to get Faraga and Blizzaga to both connect. Obviously, that one did not connect, and the other one did not either. I wasn't able to make a lot of plays here. either way you look at it, Y Graph will once again Fury proc and get stronger from being under attack. Basically, I can't attack Construct because he doesn't care about magics, which means Misadio's magic guns will not do anything to him. Avelia and Alma, they cannot be disabled or mobilized because of their ribbons. So even if I attack them, they also have innate arcane defense, which reduces magic damage taken by 33%. So even shooting them wouldn't really mattered. Really, my main threat is Y Graph. And as we had already noticed, I had to get a level 3 spell to even potentially have a chance to take him down there, which did not happen. I think even if I did get Faraga and Blizzaga, it still would not have killed him because he still has Shell on. It would have just possibly put him in critical condition if they both landed. But sadly, I got the level 1 spells there, so that didn't really matter. And Orran's going to chill in the back and stasis me, potentially putting Misadio back in stop and mobilize disable state if it connects. And it did miss on Misadio, so there's that 50% chance working in my favor. Misadio is still in critical condition, but he will not be stunned from that. Drase going to advance his Alma behind his Y Graph. He's going to prep the dirty work for another quick here. He's going to try to get Y Graph basically a back-to-back turn. And yes, it is Y Graph's turn, so at this point, with him having... Oh, that crit though. Oh boy. Alright. Y Graph is on a killing spree at this point. He's basically down my entire team. With the aid of Orran earlier, keeping my team down because of stasis, of celestial stasis. So I really, once he's gotten across and kept that stop and mobilize disable up, it's made it a lot easier to Y Graph do his work. Quick is going out, more likely going to connect. It will connect, so Y Graph immediately will get his turn again, and I believe that is going to be a GG for me, as he's in position to get the last strike. He's not going to try to risk him. He's going to make sure he hits it with a guaranteed Holy Sword. Misadio will go down, and that is the end of Game 3. Drase is the winner of the match. Good game, sir. That was definitely an interesting game. Honestly, I liked how that game played out, even if I did not win, because it showcased the power more so of Uniques, and this where map and ally selection mattered the most. It also shows the very critical weakness of Orran, which, no one has really vouched that he's going to be very overpowered or potentially very, very dangerous. But it does show that he, in general, has a lot of weaknesses. His main weaknesses are the enemy team being innately immune to immobilize, disable, and stop. Of course, there's always a 50% chance to miss, just like there's a 50% chance to hit, but if you want to really be prepared for an Orran, potentially, make sure you always have Alma and or Avelia, one or both, because those two will always have a ribbon. Cloud even is an option there because he has a ribbon as well. Balthier is an option because he is character-wise innately immune. Y Graph's another option because he's also character-wise innately immune. And Construct 8 because he is also character-wise innately immune to Orran Celestial Stasis, as well as Orran to himself because they're the same zodiac sign. Besides that, basically at that point, if you think that you're going to be against an Orran and you're not necessarily selecting those characters for your composition, then you definitely want to automatically have Alma or Avelia because the spell will cleanse of all those negative status effects. And at this point, you really need to consider, the map's going to play a big role there. Once again, this map is... Zeklaus Desert is a map where it's questionable in general because Orran's arithmetics don't really work well there, right? Like, I was only able to arithmetic towards the end. That was only because at the midpoint, the tile height becomes 2, like once you get to the middle of the map, besides dropping it to the gully. But at the highest point, it's 2 height. So, yes, I could target then, but that's it. So, like, half the game, I can't really arithmetic, but I can stasis from anywhere on the map. So yeah, that's one of those points where like Orran's strong, but also Orran can potentially be bad, or well, I wouldn't. Bad's not the right word. Better to say ineffective. Overall, I think he's in a good spot, but you do need to consider that if the opponent might run him, always have at least Alma or Avelia on your team at all times, because those two cannot be affected by him automatically, and those two are the main ones to break you out of said effect. Anyways, Drase, do you have any closing thoughts or anything?